Hi. So this is the Royal Dutchman out here in nature. It's a Royal Dutch revolutionary, and I just wanted to speak about the Dutch government, how it's a mafia. And I'm really speaking to uh, people, I guess, of all countries, but primarily I'm speaking about people in the Netherlands. I'm speaking English. I don't speak Dutch, and I'm speaking about some very compelling issues. This is very compelling stuff. And I'm discussing perhaps the collapse, of the government as we know it. And many people are they're brainwashed and they believe in the illusion. So you've all heard about it. You've heard about the Great Reset. You've heard about the toxicity of vaccines. That you're 3 times more likely to die if you have received in a 12. So if you're 3 times likely to die, women are 3 times likely to die within 3 months after they receive a vaccine. They've received a vaccine within the past 3 months. They're 3 times more likely to die. That's pretty striking. So I want to speak about. I'm not really gonna. I want to speak about people in the Netherlands and how they are having their children taken from them. People who have not abused or neglected their children at all. In fact, most of the children that are either have an OTS or an out-of-home placement in the Netherlands, either a supervision order or an out-of-home placement. It's unclear how many of these supervision orders are leading to out-of-home placements. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you that the courts in the Netherlands are simply corrupt. The judges are partisan. This is a bureaucracy. This is not a democracy. In fact, obviously, Netherlands isn't democracy, right? They have a royal family. I think a constitutional monarchy, right? So that's more like Magna Carta times that we're living in. You think about it. And actually, people in those times, they actually had more rights. Because in those times, in the times of Magna Carta, think about it. They wrote the Magna Carta to ask for more rights. Before they asked for those rights, they already had more rights than most modern people today. It's true. If you were a really evil person in that time, you would have just been executed. Whereas, Netherlands gives them 1 year probation, if you're a pedophile. I definitely want to talk about the pedophile problem on the Dutch government. But I want to speak about how the judges will just agree with youth care and everything. Youth care is the one that does out-of-home placements. Full Times Youth Care are not separate organizations. They're the same organization. Anytime you ask for help from Youth Care, you will be suspected of child abuse. You're being suspected. And I've even heard people say that it's very difficult to stop these people from taking your children once you get them in your life. They just get so much money for these children. So if you wrongfully take a child for not cleaning a dish one time and violating a supervision order, which, by the way, should never lead to an out-of-home placement, because in the law, it isn't supposed to lead to an out-of-home placement. So nothing they do is by the law. Nothing. It's civil law. They aren't even supposed to involve police. Did you know that? It's not criminal law. They aren't supposed to involve police to forcibly take children, but they do. And if a judge rules that a child will be returned, which I think is very rare, the Dutch Youth Care can simply ignore this order. They simply ignore it. And they're not supposed to, but they do. Because it's a mafia and they have absolute power. And they are trafficking kids. That's what it is. Legal child trafficking. So keep in mind that everything Hitler did in Germany was legal. Every single thing. Because he made the laws, and that's what they do. So all the corruption we have today, a lot of it is obviously not legal, but they try to give themselves legal passes on a lot of different things. Why is it in the news? You only see mainly Dutch youth care employees protesting they want more money. And they show pictures of the children, which is just absolutely disgusting. You need to help the children by giving us money. Why would giving money to a corrupt system help children? So these people are delusional. They're communists, in my opinion. These workers' union people. And they're just delusional. Many of them psychopaths, sociopathic. Many of them women. Most of them women. Women oppressing other women. So when you have this whole gender war idea, men versus women, especially in Netherlands, you have this. No, they just want to destroy the family unit. They want to put men against women, women against men. So that to distract you from the people who are really oppressing you, the people that are actually oppressing women and men. And actually, frankly, women are actually a bit more oppressed. In other words, women and children are sacred. That is what they are targeting. They're going after the womb of the mother. They even have out of the womb placements, in other words. So if you have your kid taken before and you go to a hospital, they'll just take your children right when they're born. It's called an out of the womb placement. People don't believe me. They say, you're mentally ill. You're mentally ill. And they say it with that really, they act like, they know best. They're really the crazy ones. So what kind of country do you live in, okay? If anyone who speaks, who exposes the corrupt nature, the oppressive nature of the Dutch government, either ends up in prison, in a psychiatric hospital, or in jail. I mean, or just end up killed. They'll just kill you. Will this video be flagged by YouTube? We'll see. Spoke about a lot of things. They might target me for misinformation. So what are they doing to children? They're destroying their mental health. These people that work in youth care, they don't have any training. They don't have many of them don't even have degrees. They certainly are not psychiatrists. They don't even have the children go to see a child psychiatrist, and there's rarely any research done into the well-being of the child that's taken, or the out-of-home placement is justified. And in the law, they're supposed to return children as soon as possible if there haven't been criminal charges. But they don't do that, because the criminal system is based on evidence, and the family court system is not. So I am primarily talking about the family court system, but I would say the whole government's corrupt. People just don't like you. They'll just put you in prison at a psych hospital. That's a big thing, gaslighting people, labeling them as crazy, when in fact so you have these youth care labeling as people as crazy and trying to force people to take medications, antipsychotic medications that cause obesity and cause early death. And you ever see those commercials and they tell you all the side effects, really fast voice, small letters, all the side effects of even antidepressants, antipsychotics. They'll tell you all the horrible side effects that can make you want to do all kinds of horrible things. It can really hurt you physically. So these people that are not psychiatrists try to act like psychiatrists. And the actual psychiatrists go and they meet and they write the book. They write the book about what's a mental illness. So let me tell you something. What is a mental illness? If you go to a doctor, what is a mental illness? Well, normal illness, you need physical evidence or a blood test, for example, to prove you have AIDS or HIV. If you go to a dentist or you have HIV, they don't care how you feel. They just want to know, okay, do you have this disease or not? Whereas if you go to a psychiatrist, like, how do you feel? How do you feel? I'll tell you how I feel. I don't want you giving me toxic medications and violating my human rights by locking me up and saying my danger to myself when I'm not. I don't like that these psychiatrists lock up women who are victims of human trafficking. You beat yourself. I've actually heard this. One of my friends, they said she beat herself. The police said they just made it up and were laughing to the psychiatrist. She didn't beat herself. She was beaten by someone else. And if you take a forensic person, professional, they could go tell you that these wounds are not self-inflicted. Someone else did this. You can't just punch yourself. It doesn't even make sense, right? And inflict that kind of damage. They can actually figure out if someone else did it or not. This can be proven by a forensic professional. But because psychiatry isn't based on evidence, they can just say whatever they want about you, lock you up, give you medications, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because you can't prove if you have a mental illness or not. There's no blood test that you can take. Just the psychiatrist simply says you do. So that is bias. If you ask psychiatrists, oh, have you ever cured anyone? They'll laugh and they'll tell you, I haven't. If you ask them, have you ever cured anyone? They'll say they haven't cured anyone. Is there any way to prove they have this mental illness? They'll say, no, I just decide myself. Let me tell you something. The family that rocks the cradle rules the nation. The woman who rocks the cradle rules the nation. We need to have a revolution in the Netherlands. I'm a revolutionary. Currently banned from the Netherlands for the next 7 months. You see all the farmers' protests. Why isn't there a lot of media coverage about that? But it's still going on. Farmer Defense Board. They even have some very aggressive farmers out there. Lots of different farmers' unions. But they need to come together to really fight this scourge. Because that's what it is. It's evil. What the Dutch government is. Not the farmers. The farmers are on the side of goodness. And there was another farmer who said, look at people are really asking, like, what is going on there? What is going on in the Netherlands? People from other countries. I'm from America. I lived in the Netherlands a couple of years. I know people that have been victims of this. I've known children that have been victims. So, there are people who say that the Dutch government is organized mafia. They make money from drugs, from child trafficking, from weapons sales. This is how they make money. And I heard the main source of money is actually child trafficking. So a lot of these kids going to these asylum centers in the Netherlands. I read there's some people claim that all accompanied asylum seeker children that come to Netherlands that don't have parents are trafficked into sex slavery. So what's going on? I would tell you this. I don't know everything. I know some people that have children that have been wrongfully taken from their parents. I don't know people that have been killed. Let me tell you another thing. There were over 1,000 reports made to the Justice Department in the Netherlands that said that they were raped when they were children in foster care. And guess what? How many of those resulted in charges? Just 6. And the prosecutor smugly was treating the victims with contempt. Because that's what it is. People in Netherlands, they want to pretend like this isn't happening. They're in denial. They believe in the fairy tale of the Netherlands, not the reality. When you have big-time pedophiles like George Demick, who was the former Minister of Justice pretty recently in the Netherlands, they said they raped boys. Many boys, they come forward. I saw videos of them. They talk about how they even saw other boys that were killed in snuff films. Snuff films were just, yeah. There's kids being raped and killed in the Netherlands. Nobody's going to scare. Let me tell you something. It's over for them. They can't put everyone in prison. They can't put everyone